Welcome to Melrose Unitarian Universalist Church. Our service today is called Rest, Renewal, Resistance, Flower Ceremony, and Bridging. So, good morning. It's wonderful to see you all here today. I have to admit I was happy that it was a little bit cloudy today so that we wouldn't have beautiful weather competing with this service. It's wonderful to see so many of you here with us today for this very special Sunday. Our church is a vibrant, caring community dedicated to love and service. All who share our values are welcome here among us. I have just a couple of announcements before we get started. In coffee hour today, there will be special treats in honor of our youth. Thank you, Mary Beth. Special treats. Also in coffee hour, there'll be a fair trade sale, and there'll be more letter writing to voters, so that's exciting. Please stop by the table. And treats, yes. Thank you, Scarlett. Can't forget the treats. And then there's a special rally coming up on Tuesday that our anti-racism team wants to invite you to attend. So here to talk to you about that is Beth Yergrow.
Hi, I'm speaking on behalf of the anti-racism team. We want to let you know that actually this was all just confirmed on Friday, that the Medco Parents, Friends of Melrose Medco, and the Melrose Racial Justice Community Coalition are hosting an all-ages rally this Tuesday, June 11th at 10:30 a.m. at City Hall in support of families that are affected by racial bullying. I have the letter that went out and the flyer out, double-sided, out there for copies for any of you that would like them, since this was such short notice. Several of us started attending these meetings earlier this year. There are currently 2 cases of alleged racial bias that made the Boston News and, excuse me, I have to look at my notes here, and are both under investigation. One through an independent third party hired by the Melrose Schools, and the other through the State Office for Civil Rights. Everyone should know that these cases are far from isolated. They've been going on for a long time. In fact, as way longer than the 4 years that these organizations that are hosting this existed. So we hope you will be there. If you have any questions, see me or anyone on the anti-racism team at coffee hour. Thank you. And do go to Origin on June 18th, please.
Beth, you're jumping ahead in the announcements. They're all chronological. So next Sunday is our annual Father's Day picnic, which will be in Pine Banks Park at 10:30 a.m. worship time. And our wonderful fellowship committee is supplying all the food, a full brunch. You don't have to bring any food, but you do need to bring a container to eat from and some utensils, okay? So you can bring some leftovers home that way too. That's next Sunday. And let's see, one other thing. Let's see. Oh, on June 18th, the movie Origins will be shown here, sponsored by our anti-racism team. Today's service is very special. It's a lot of different things, all interrelated and together. Our theme this month is renewal, so I've titled the service Rest, Renewal, and Resistance, because we're about to break for the summer, and I hope that we get a chance, all of us, to rest and renew our spirits in that time. Today's service is also multi-generational. We'll have our kids with us the whole time. So there's going to be more story, more moving around, more motion, and our homily will be much shorter for lots of reasons so that we can make time for our flower ritual and make time for our special bridging ceremony for our youth. Yeah, but in a little while. I'll call you up, Liz, I promise. I don't get to sit down, so you tell me. Okay, sorry. Service has a lot of moving parts today, and we're going to go with the flow. I wanted to mention that our flower ceremony is a unique Unitarian ritual. It is now 101 years old. It celebrates spring, but also the beauty and the enduring gift of community. All the flowers together are a symbol of our unique bouquet of individuals here with us, and they are more beautiful altogether. This ritual was invented by a Czech minister, Norbert Čapek, who preached about the worth and dignity of every person under the Nazi regime, and for that he was persecuted by the Nazis. So we remember him with this beautiful ritual. It is about beauty, but also about resistance. I want to acknowledge that most of the flowers here today have been a donation from the wonderful Linda Ireland, who's an expert on native plants, and she made sure that they are native to us and not invasive, which is wonderful. If you have a flower that you've brought this morning, I welcome you to bring it forward during the first hymn when we're all standing. That would be a perfect time. And then later on in the service, we'll all get a different flower to take home with us. A quick thank you to our helpers. Our usher today is Ethan Weinberg. Thank you, Ethan. Our greeter is Kathy Sang, and the coffee hosts are Beth Yergrau and Martha Borkin. And I also want to acknowledge that today is the very last service under our president, Jenny Wengrovius, who's been president for 2 years now. And here to say some special words about that is our incoming president, Liz. Your name is Liz Folzer. Folzer fell out of my head. Too many things this morning to think about. Thanks, Liz.
So first, a word about me. When I became vice president, I could not have asked for a better guide, mentor, and friend than our president, Jenny Wengrovius. She has been steadfast, articulate, compassionate, and completely dedicated to the work of this church and to our congregation. As a professional therapist, she has brought her skills to this job, and she has set the bar higher than imaginable. And in fact, I want you to know that I will not reach it. You're not going to get therapy when you call me up. But I will try to follow Jenny's lead and listen with compassion and thoughtfulness and hold my tongue and let you have your say. She has done that so well. I cannot tell you how impressed I have been and how much I have learned from her and how lucky we are to have her in our line of presidents who work so hard on behalf of our church. One thing that makes Jenny unique in our recent experience is she is the rare person who has agreed to do this job while she has school-aged children. And I want to take a moment to recognize the sacrifice that Stefano, Zura, and Scarlett have made, right? Yes, in all those times when mom couldn't pick you up from school, mom couldn't talk, mom was having a meeting, mom was on the phone, mom had work to do. And so we really, really appreciate the dedication and sacrifice, the commitment and the work of this family. Thank you very much. Please join me.
Today is indeed the last formal service of the year. We will be having some activities over the summer, so please watch your midweek update to get information about those. But this is the last formal service in our sanctuary until the Sunday after Labor Day. And now it's time to say good morning to one another. Please turn to the person on your left, the person on your right, in front of you, behind you. Say good morning. Welcome to worship. Good morning, good morning. I call us to worship this morning with these words from the Reverend Clara Feingold Thorin, one of our ministers in Lexington, Mass. She writes, "Let us give thanks for a bouquet of people. We give thanks for children, like tulips and iris. They multiply around us, making the world ever more filled with color, beauty, and new life. May we bless them as they replant themselves even further from us, knowing they need their own space to grow into. We give thanks for feisty friends as indomitable as geraniums, and for continuous friends who, like bittersweet and ivy, hold on and never let go and can never be gotten rid of. For crotchety friends, as prickly as rose bushes, their beauty a secret that is only discovered through careful gardening. For surprising friends who at first glance seem dour, then blossom into joy as quickly as forsythia. For funny friends, silly as snapdragons, and serious friends, complex as chrysanthemums. For friends as unpretentious as dogwood, as persistent as pachysandra, as steadfast as azalea, and who, like snowdrops, can be counted on to see you through the winter and remind you that spring always comes. For loving friends who wind around us like wisteria and embrace us despite our blights, wilts, and witherings. And finally, for forget-me-not friends, gone but never forgotten. Their beauty lives on in our memories and in our hearts. For this bouquet of people who brighten our lives each day in their own way, we give thanks. Amen. Now we light the symbol of our faith, the flaming chalice, and here to light it for us this morning are all our RE kids. Come on up. Who is doing the lighting? All right, thank you so much, Allison. And they are going to lead us, not in our covenant or our doxology, but in the words that they use whenever they gather downstairs. Come on up, Asa.
I love the president.
All right. Me too, I love the president. All right. Okay, we invite you, please. You want to invite them to stand? Go ahead, Allison.
Yes, I invite you to stand and join you in the words of our religious education covenants. We are Unitarian Universalists. We are the church of the open mind, the loving heart, and helping hands. Together we care for our earth and work for friendship and peace in our time.
That was wonderful. Okay, before you all go, I would love. Oh wait, no, we're going to do the opening hymn now. Sorry. Okay, that's great. So you guys can go back to your seat. Everybody else, please remain standing for our opening hymn. During which, if you brought a flower, feel free to bring it up. It's number 126 in the gray hymnal. Come, thou fount of every blessing. Thank you, kids. You did a great job. Thank you. You may be seated. It occurs to me if I sit down now and do the story from here, you all won't be able to see me. But you'll be able to see the illustrations. So I'm going to ask the kids, do you guys want to do the story on the stairs, or do you want to stay there and I'll do the story from here? Anybody have an opinion on that? Okay, no opinions. Do you mind sitting there and I'll do the story from here? Is that okay? Then people can see me. Bill, last minute change, thank you. Our story today is called Rose's Garden, created by Peter H. Reynolds. Reynolds is a Boston area writer. I think he lives in Dedham and owns a bookshop there. And he dedicates this book to Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, who was an avid gardener and after whom the new Greenway has been named, because it is also beautiful and full of flowers. So maybe we don't need the book. Rose was a dreamer, an adventurer. She explored the world in her fantastic teapot. She collected seeds from each place she visited so she could remember it by. The teapot became heavy and brimmed with seeds. There in the distance was a big, bustling city by the sea. "Welcome, friend. Sail upriver. It's lovely there," the harbor master called down to Rose. "Thank you. I think I'll explore the city first," said Rose. Soon she found herself in the busiest part of the city. And there she spotted a dusty, forgotten stretch of earth. Rose pondered. This little patch needs some color. Rose began preparing the soil, imagining what a different, colorful place this could be. When she went to gather her seeds from her teapot, she noticed a flock of birds flying away from it. The birds seemed full and happy. "Oh no!" Rose slipped into the teapot and carefully gathered the last few remaining seeds. She tucked them inside her pocket and then hurried from the dock. The birds had eaten all her seeds. Well, most of them. She had a few left. Rose planted the few seeds and waited patiently. But nothing seemed to happen. The rains of spring made the soil too wet. The heat of summer made the ground too dry. The chill of autumn came too early. She waited all through the snowy, snowy winter. Finally, the snow melted, the ground warmed. Still, Rose waited, determined that her seeds would awaken. Word spread of Rose's faith in her garden. One warm spring day, a girl approached Rose with a gift. It was a paper flower. "I made it myself for your garden," the girl said, beaming. "Thank you," said Rose. The very next day, a boy appeared with his own handcrafted paper flower. Rose was delighted. "This will be in good company when my own flowers bloom," she said. Day after day, more children came to visit, each with a paper flower. Each told a story about coming to this city, having journeyed from all over the world, like seeds carried on a breeze. Before long, the garden was filled with color, glorious color, thousands of flowers, each one made of paper. Rose marveled. As she waited among them, she heard a sound, a buzzing. She noticed a bee gently land on one of the flowers. She peered closer. This flower was not made of paper. She breathed in its sweet perfume. And then she noticed another real flower and another. Each flower, real or paper, had appeared around her because Rose believed her faith had gathered a garden and the stories of a city. Rose realized then that her travels were over. She was home. Home in this amazing garden, this splash of color in the middle of a great city, surrounded by stories and flowers. Here in Rose's garden, everybody's garden. And now I heard from a little bird that you all have some paper flowers. Is that true? Oh, well, real ones are good too. Last week in RE, our artist, Michelle DeVoe, led the kids in making paper flowers. If you would please like to add them to our beautiful bouquet, you can do that. You can come and put it in with the other flowers. There's plenty of space. Thank you so much. And now, I would like to invite up our chair of the Religious Education Committee, Florence Cordovano, who has some words of thanks and an announcement to make.
Good morning. This was an unexpected year in RE at MUUC. We kicked off the church year with excitement, enthusiasm, and ambitious plans to continue the work of reimagining and reinvigorating our RE program post-pandemic. And we end the church year in much the same way. But we're stronger now than we were in September. We've grown together, and we have greater clarity of vision. I've received so many thank yous from the congregation for the part I played in not letting RE at MUUC falter when we found ourselves without a DRE unexpectedly in February, and I've appreciated the support tremendously. But I didn't do it alone. I apologize in advance for names I may have forgotten here. We've had so many helpers this year, and we sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to our wonderful group of Sunday morning RE and nursery volunteers, including Garen Boyd, Maggie Beasley, Mary Delahanty, Barbara Lambiaso, Allison O'Connell, Stefano Tanzani, Steve Knupp, and Jane Foley. Your support on Sunday mornings allowed us to continue to provide a space and time for the youngest among us to gather and learn, and we appreciate you. Thank you to Rebecca Mooney, Beth Urgrau, Mary Delahanty, and Janice Bissix for being willing to try new things and supporting Thursday morning story time in the parlor. We hope to begin again in September. Thanks to Linda Ireland and Michelle DeVoe for sharing their time and talents by creating special experiences for our kids like outdoor planting and art sessions. Thanks to Beth Urgrau, Rebecca Mooney, Jeannie Harris, Corey Mann, and Wendy Mastronardi for volunteering to help during the Evolving Chalice Community Summer Program. We couldn't do it without you all. A very special thanks to youth group advisors Jennifer Fanning, Wendy Mastronardi, and Chuck Foley, who have supported our youth and facilitated their participation in the impactful City Reach program. Your dedication to our young people is felt and appreciated by us all. I would also like to extend my deep gratitude to my fellow RE committee members, Sarah Sklarski and Jane Foley. We three comprised a small but mighty team this year, and I'm tremendously grateful for you both. Sarah contributed thoughtfully at RE committee meetings, sometimes with a child in her lap, reminding me of why we do this, even when we're tired, even when it feels hard. Jane's calm and steady support was exactly what I needed when things felt difficult this year. Jane has wonderful perspective and an ability to balance idealism and pragmatism that I respect and deeply appreciate. Jane is a doer who is devoted to this community, and we are so lucky to have her. I would like to thank Reverend Suzanne for all of her support always. She lifts us up and helps guide our way forward, and we are so grateful for her. I'd also like to thank my husband Vince and daughter Victoria for caring about MUUC as much as I do, and for understanding why I give of my time and talent here. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my mom, Kathy, who has been teaching Sunday morning RE since the need arose in February. My mom generally works in the nursery, but she was flexible and willing to do what was needed to support RE at MUUC. She has helped behind the scenes in countless ways this year, and I'm so grateful for her. Along this journey of arriving where we started to begin again, we've experienced many blessings, and I'm so glad to be on this path with all of you. We have a small gift for this year's RE volunteers, and we'll distribute them during coffee hour or whenever we see our helpers next. The congregation is also invited to visit the new and improved RE classroom during coffee hour. The classroom continues to be a work in progress, but has come a very long way over the last several months, thanks to collaboration with our Montessori neighbor and the efforts of volunteers, of course. Thank you so much.
Hey, Florence, stay here for just a second. Jane Foley, would you please come up? Jane has just another thank you for us. And maybe a surprise. Maybe a surprise.
So in the continuing thank yous, first, we are so grateful for you, Florence, and appreciative. She stepped up in big ways these past 4 months for the religious education program, creating curriculum, coordinating with Montessori to give RE space, please go down, connecting with families, and making today as special as it is, always with grace and patience and a loving heart. Please, thank you, Florence. Thank you. And together we have something special to announce, that we have a new director of lifespan religious education. We're going to introducing Rhea Brown Bright. So Reverend Suzanne, Florence, and I met with Rhea twice, but after the first interview, we knew that we wanted them as our DLRE for our church. Rhea is a lifelong UU from Oklahoma City. They have been in the DRE in Dorchester for 2 years, and they are a graduate of the BU School of Theology with a Master's of Divinity degree. Rhea is creative and fun and passionate about UU religious education, lifelong UU religious education, and we are thrilled they will be joining us. So Rhea will be starting in mid-August, and we will welcome them at our homecoming service. There's Rhea, sent us a picture of themselves.
You can see the energy. Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Jane. Thank you, Florence. And now it's time to settle down for a minute. Every Sunday in our worship service, we create together time for quiet and meditation. It's a time for us to connect with our inner selves and our highest ideals. And so we feel ourselves sinking into our seats, breathing deeply, and relaxing. In this meditation time, we join together in our centering song, then we sit for a few minutes of shared quiet, and then we speak to one another of our joys and sorrows, and I will lead us in a prayer. Our worship theme for June is renewal, and I chose the centering song because to me, it is a pathway to renewal. So please remain seated and join in as you like. The words will appear here on the screen, and let the song guide you into our time of meditation. It's our tradition every Sunday to share with one another our joys and sorrows, the personal milestones of our lives. We speak to one another and we listen with compassion and love in order to, I got an echo here. We share with compassion and love. We listen with our whole hearts so that we get to know one another better, and it binds us together in a stronger community. So I invite anybody who has a sorrow to share to please come forward and speak from the mic so everyone can hear you and see you. And I'll tell you when to light the candle. It'll just be a minute. Any other joys? Okay, Ethan, go ahead and light that candle for all the joys that are spoken and those that remain unspoken and in our hearts this morning. Let the candle be a reminder to all of us to feel grateful for all the many, many blessings in our lives. Thank you for your good help, Ethan. Please join me, if you would, in the spirit of prayer. I offer you these words from the Reverend Vanessa Southern. Life is complicated and uncertain, and gorgeous with some things we can count on. It has seasons of struggle and seasons of delight, and sometimes those two blow in and bloom simultaneously, like now, or maybe always. And here we are together, all of us from different corners of the world and different families, here, breathing together, questing together, holding each other through it all, laughing and singing in the face of it. If there is a journey to liberation, if there is a way to live resurrection, I think it is like this. May what holds us in bondage to death or loss or hurt or sadness or literal heartbreaking limits be here released. And may what gives us life, hope, joy, rebirth, feel invited to claim us, and may we claim it. Sinking our roots down into what grounds us, reaching toward the sun, flowering into this season, all of whose traditions witness to life more abundant, claiming us after a season of loss and winter, struggles of heart and mind and spirit. And may we open our hearts to the abundance of creation that surrounds us and sustains us. Amen.
Now is the time for our offertory. Our church is a self-supporting organization funded by your generous annual pledge. You may also contribute to our weekly collection plate, which we split every month with a deserving cause. Folks on Zoom can donate either way using the orange button at the top right corner of our homepage at melroseuu.org. June is Pride Month, and our Giving Beyond Our Walls recipient is Gay for Good Boston. Founded on the idea that acts of kindness bring people together, this national nonprofit mobilizes LGBTQ and ally volunteers to participate in service projects in their communities. Half our collection plate in June will go to Gay for Good Boston. And this morning, our offertory selection, in the spirit of renewal, is called I Seek the Spirit of a Child.
Thank you, choir. That was lovely. I have half a sermon today, and then we will move on to our bridging ceremony and celebrate our graduating seniors. Talk about seeking the spirit of a child. I have an old story to share. Every day after school, the son of a well-known rabbi would enter his house, place his backpack on the dining room table, and then immediately leave the house through the back doors and head into the woods behind the house. At first, the rabbi gave little thought to his son's ritual until it continued for days and then for weeks. Every day, out into the woods for almost half an hour, the rabbi grew concerned. "My son," he asked one day, "I noticed that every day you leave our house to spend time in the woods. Are you okay?" "Oh, Papa," the son replied, "there is no need to worry. I go into the woods to pray. It is in the woods that I can talk to God." "Oh," the rabbi said, clearly relieved. "But you should know that God is the same everywhere." "Oh, yes, Papa," said the boy. "I know that God is the same everywhere, but I am not." What a wise young man. Yes, if the divine, the holy, the spirit of life is present anywhere, it is likely present everywhere. But we are not always ready, available to perceive it, to receive it. How many of you here are like the boy? How many take time every day for quiet meditation and to notice beauty or to commune with the Spirit? Very good. Okay, well, a few, and that's very good. But not many of us. I know that sometimes when you go home and put your bag down, so many other things seem to get in the way. There's always something to do. There's a never-ending amount of chores and cleaning and we get caught up in it and we forget to take time for the Spirit. Somebody said to me the other day, "I miss the pandemic. At least the first year of lockdown when things were all slowed down. Do you remember that? We were all scared, sure, but we also all went, ah." Everyone slowed down, and we thought, there's a lesson to be learned in this, isn't there? Did we learn it? My oldest sister is an overachiever. She is the perfect firstborn child, a type A personality, and her favorite saying is, "You can sleep when you're dead." Have you heard that? And I think I was raised kind of to believe that. I'm a bit like that myself, and I wonder how that affects me. Do you believe that? Is that how you live your life? Tricia Hersey calls that grind culture, because it grinds at you. She's a performance artist and an activist, a theologian and a daydreamer. She calls herself the Nap Bishop. And she calls her ministry the Nap Ministry. When people come to her retreats, they expect to get a blanket and a chance to rest so they can go back to grind culture more well-rested. But instead, she's calling them to something else, something bigger. She's calling them to rest as resistance, to napping as a form of activism, a pushback against grind culture. The Nap Bishop writes, quote, "Rest is a form of resistance because it disrupts and pushes back against capitalism and white supremacy. Both of these toxic systems refuse to see the inherent divinity of human beings, not to mention the planet. And they have used human bodies, especially black and brown bodies, as a tool for production, for evil and violence for centuries. Grind culture has made all of us human machines, willing and ready to donate our lives to a system that thrives by placing profit over people and profit over the planet," unquote. Gave me a lot to think about as I contemplate the summer. rest as resistance, rest as claiming yourself for yourself, rest as reclaiming that most precious gift of all, time, which is the very essence of our lives. Time is not a renewable resource. I'm reminded of an episode of The Twilight Zone. Do you all remember The Twilight Zone? There was one called The Obsolete Man. It's set in the future, not in the one that will be, but in a future that could be. The host, Rod Serling, tells us it could be. We enter a scene where a man is put on trial for being obsolete, no longer productive, no longer worthy. In this future, the state has banned books, and the man is a librarian, so therefore he is obsolete. In his youth, he had been a carpenter, and producing furniture was valuable. If he had remained a carpenter, he would not be obsolete. But the librarian chooses to resist, and his method of resistance, reading. At the end of the show, Rod Serling does something unexpected. He reappears to give the moral. He says, quote, "Any state, any entity, any ideology which fails to recognize the worth, the dignity, the rights of humans, man, that state is obsolete." Do those words sound familiar to you? They might, because Rod Serling was a Unitarian Universalist. He was a member of our church in Santa Monica, where, coincidentally, once upon a time, I was the DRE. So only one degree of connection between me and him. I thought of this episode this past week when I learned about Annabelle Jenkins, a member of the class of 2024, who at her high school graduation last week, instead of shaking the hand of her school superintendent, attempted to hand him a copy of The Handmaid's Tale, a book that he had banned from the school library and from the town's libraries. Annabelle's TikTok about her action has reached millions of people. And Annabelle is a member of a UU church. Rest is resistance. Reading is resistance. Taking a stand against dehumanizing grind culture is resistance. Rest is reclaiming your humanity and your divinity, and it can restore your creativity, your passion, and your will to resist dehumanization wherever you see it. My prayer for you this day is that this summer you will rest and renew your spirit, that you will resist grind wherever possible and renew your divinity, reclaim your time. And that when you come back in the fall together, we will be and become a church that puts relationship first, a church that blooms with joy and love and connection for years and years to come. Amen. Now, it's almost time for us to build our bridge. First, I want to call forward the leaders of our youth group this year, Chuck Foley, Jennifer Fanning, and also Wendy Mastronardi. Are you coming forward? Good. They have a few words to say about our youth group this year. I think we're going to do that from down here in this microphone, which is still on. Good. Bill, can you turn on the Joys and Sorrows mic? Thanks.
Now it is. Okay. Yes, I'm Chuck. I've served as a youth advisor the last few years. I wanted to just borrow from the words that I heard in our first, or sung in our first hymn today, about the fount of inspiration. And I want to look back to last year's main youth group activity, which was City Reach, and how amazed and inspired I was that we had, from our church, we had 7 youth participate last year. Now, that experience was not what I would describe as one of our sort of fun or pleasure outings. We do have those, but it was really challenging, but really meaningful, and to have the youth connect directly as human beings and serve people experiencing homelessness. But that inspiration was surpassed this year. We had some youth move on from the program. We had other youth come into it, but we had several that returned this year. And to have a similar number of youth this year, including returning ones, including our seniors that we're recognizing today, Adam and Quinn, just really, it's hard to express, and I'm taking too much time, the inspiration that I got from that. And also to that, I would add inspiration and appreciation to our adult leadership for this being a kind of a different year, and how people stepped up and stepped in, and just really, I can't say enough. And to me, that all bodes really well for the youth that are going to be coming up into our program in the years to come. I'm so gratified about that.
Thanks, Chuck.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. It's been a privilege for me and a joy to work with the youth group this year. And I'd like to ask the youth group to stand and be recognized. The group this year includes Adam Lambiaso, Quinn Trilligator, Maya Nupp, Elm Mook, Molly Boyd, Gray Boyd, and Zoe Audette and Madeline Gamilla Mate, who also participated in City Reach this year. So thank you guys for participating in the group, and also for your hard work in City Reach that helped to make it a success. I would like to echo Chuck's thanks to Wendy and Florence especially for stepping in partway through the year and doing so much to make sure that City Reach happened and was such a success. And also to thank the congregation for their clothing donations to City Reach, and also for their support for the youth group program. Without the congregation's support, it would not be possible. Thank you.
And I'd like to invite Adam and Molly and Gray to come forward. Adam just has a brief statement to share with you about City Reach. Quinn and Maya are welcome to come, but I promised them they did not have to if they didn't want to. And also sharing three youth who are not able to be here, but did want to wish both Quinn and Adam their sincere best wishes. Zoe and Madeline and Elmo had other commitments.
So City Reach is a program run by St. Paul's Cathedral in Boston. It's fully run by people who have been unhoused at some point in their lives. And our part was to gather clothing donations from our congregation, meet with the other groups, and distribute clothing for the unhoused community. And while we were there, we were given a walking tour around the Boston Common area from 10 to 11 p.m. To see and hear what it's really like to live on the street. At the close of City Reach, the leader of the program, Reverend Carrington, asked us, "What will you do now?" And so these are the thoughts that we had. We will look at the world differently now and pay more attention. We have become aware of the dangers and possibilities of being unhoused. We will better see unhoused people as human beings and make an effort to talk to an unhoused person and avoid ostracizing them. We will appreciate sidewalk art and the people who make it. We will look at the world differently and work on our own stereotypical thinking, while also speaking up against stereotypes. We will value the little things more, and we will go to City Reach again.
Thank you, Adam. And congratulations to our youth this year. Thank you for, did you guys want to talk? No, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. It is our tradition here to recognize our graduating seniors with a bridging ceremony. We line up along the aisle, and then we turn that way toward the door, and we put our hands up, and we build a bridge with our hands. It symbolizes the transition from youth to young adulthood. As the two youth go under the bridge, we bless them. We bless them forward into their own unique adult lives. So now I call forward our graduating seniors. Adam, would you please rejoin me? And Quinn, would you please come forward? I promise you don't have to speak. This has been a delicate negotiation. Adam, you have grown up in this congregation, surrounded in our affection and care since you were tiny. We have done our best to show you our UU values and to point you toward a faithful and joyful future. Quinn, you have come to this church more recently. You have shown up with care and good humor and made good friends here. We wish for you a faithful and joyful future. And now we're going to build the bridge. We're going to start with our RE kids. If you could please stand up and line up along here, some on each side, that would be great. Let's see, okay, that's wonderful. And now after them, the kids are symbolizing their grounding and their childhood. And after that, I want to ask anyone who has taught Adam or Quinn in RE or in the youth group to line up and to be the next phase of the bridge. Next, anyone in our congregation who has known or nurtured Adam and Quinn. I want to invite their families too to come in and join. And finally, all the other members and friends of the congregation. If you can't make it into the aisle, you can touch somebody who's standing in the aisle, but it would be really great. Often we've had the bridge go all the way out to the front lawn. If it's raining, I say take a left turn into Parish Hall. And while we're building the bridge, we have a special song that we always sing, and I'm going to ask us to sing that song with a little bit of a complicated instruction. The song is going to go on after the kids go through the bridge, and I would like after that, while we're still singing the beautiful song, if each of you would come forward and take one of the flowers and hold it in your hand and bring it back to your seats for the second half of our flower ceremony. Thank you so much. Oh, it's a little bit complicated today, and I've lost my place. Great. All right, we're going to be singing the song Whoa Ya Ya, which we love, and once Adam and Quinn have passed through, again, I ask everyone to come forward, keep singing, and get yourself a flower. Before the song, one last word of blessing for Adam and Quinn. If you'd come over here, get ready to go in the bridge. You're going to have to get really short there for a minute. And remember, as they pass under, don't go too fast. Imagine all the blessings that are coming down upon you. Adam and Quinn, we bless you. Go forward now in life, seeking your own wholeness and delight, and go with our blessing, knowing that you will always have a home here full of people who love you and know you and wish you well. And let's please sing the song now, Whoa Ya Ya. Adam? There we go. Wendy, did you have gifts that you wanted to give our seniors? One last thing before our closing song. Thank you, Wendy. Almost? Now I invite you to take a moment and look at the flower that you've selected. Notice its color, its soft petals, and its leaves. Sniff its fragrance. Let this blossom be for you a symbol of beauty and hope, but also a reminder of our vibrant community, the wild bouquet of unique individuals all blossoming around you. Please rise in body or in spirit and join me in the hymn we often use at the end of the year, Life Calls Us On. Please remain standing and join me in the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you to everybody who helped with the service today. I appreciate it. I appreciate you kids and everyone who brought flowers. Congratulations to Adam and Quinn, and I hope everyone has a beautiful summer. Happy Sunday. Please join us after a quick postlude from Tom. Please join us for refreshments and special treats in Parish Hall. Happy Sunday.